All right, ladies. Oh, gosh, sorry. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get started here. So this is a little bit different kind of meeting. This is what's called a work session. So the rules are a little bit different than a normal council meeting. I'll get us started here in just a second. I do want to say this is really encouraging to see all of you out here because I see people from Dover, Dardanelle, and all over, and that's really, really amazing that you showed up tonight, that you care enough. Man, kudos to you for being here. That's so amazing. Because at the end of the day, some people say, well, I don't live in Russellville. Well, no, we all shop in Russellville. We all live here. It's town to us, so I appreciate that. So I do want to start out because there are normally no public comments in a work session, but the council is going to vote here in a minute to allow public comment. I want to talk about a couple things real quick that maybe help you if you do comment. I still stand by that there is not enough land to build a typical data center in the city limits, no matter what someone says on Facebook. I will sit down with a map at any point in time. 968-2098 is my office. I will sit down with a map. Just because someone shows you something on Facebook, that does not mean it's true, okay? So I will sit down with that map. So Clarksville is currently using 135 plus or minus acres. They have more acreage that they're going to expand to. So, and contrary to what was said on Facebook, Clarksville is not the largest data center in the world. It is not going to be the largest data center in the world. The land on Elmira that everyone keeps saying is going to be a data center, AEDC, yes, they are helping us with that. We are in talks with Tabor Extrusions to have a future expansion with them. I do not have anything signed or have a commitment, but we are in talks with Tabor Extrusions. I have said over and over publicly that we're having talks with a manufacturer. So I did get permission to share that. We're having conversation with them to hopefully have another expansion with Tabor Extrusion, a very good long-term company in the city of Russellville. Now, when I speak and I say that I don't think there's going to be anything in the city limits, I can't tell you what's going to happen in the county. That is not our job. This is the city council, and so it's not anything that I don't have any control over the county government. So, and what a lot of people don't understand is we no longer have what is called extraterritorial jurisdiction. We used to, up until 2025, we had somewhat of a say, a mile boundary around the city limits of Russellville. We do not have that any longer. That was taken away by the state legislature last year, so we do not have that any longer. So once you hit the city limits, we do not have the ability to control anything. Okay, another thing that someone says is just simply say no. Well, you can't legally do that. You can't just tell a business that comes into your town, you can't just say no. That's called discrimination. And so we can't, if they come in and they fall in all of the planning, all of the different things, so that you can't just say no without a legal reason. Thus, your council has called a public meeting to be able to put parameters and guardrails in place so that you can have protections. So that's why you're here, and I want to give kudos to this council. You have one of the best councils around. So they're wanting to set those guardrails in your zoning code. So if it's not in your zoning code, just because you don't like somebody, it doesn't mean that you could say no. Also, and this is going to be on YouTube so everybody can see this, I have not signed an NDA. I do not know anyone who is up here, and they can all speak for themselves, and I do not know anyone in the city government or the county government that has signed an NDA with a data center. So I don't know how often I can say that, how much I can say, but at the end of the day, that's where we're at. 968-2098, that is my office number. Anyone can call me and have a meeting with me. I will sit down with maps. I will sit down with everything I can for you to show you, because at the end of the day, I don't want you to go in bed scared. There are people talking about moving. There are people that are living in fear, and there's no reason to be living in fear right now, contrary to what Facebook says. But, okay, so got that over with. I don't have a clerk here, so I'm going to do a roll call. Mr. George, Ms. Wetzel, Ms. Young, Mr. Olson, Mr. Bradley.
Here.
Mr. Pearson, Mr. Gray.
Here.
Mr. Keller.
Here.
All right, myself. So we have 4 of you and myself here. So I will, moving into what we were going to call the public comment period, I'll entertain a motion from you guys.
I want to make a motion that we entertain public input from speakers using our council rules that we adopted in January of this year.
Can you clarify those?
Yeah, the rules are up to 10 speakers, 3 minutes per speaker.
Okay. So
Second.
have a motion and a second that will allow public speakers in a work session based on 10 speakers with 3 minutes apiece. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so we'll go ahead and move forward to that motion. I'm just going to go down the line. I have 7 people that have signed up to vote, or not vote, I'm sorry, 7 people signed up to speak. I'm going to go down the line from the top to bottom. The first one will be Omar Clemens, and if you'll look at the monitors, you'll have 3 minutes on your time. If you would approach the microphone. If you're very tall, please speak into that, because at the end of the day, we want everyone to hear, but also we want everyone on YouTube to hear what's going on. So, all right, Mr. Clemens.
Will you please state your name for the record?
Yes.
Everyone,
Yes.
please.
Yes, so my name is Omar Clemens. I am a citizen of Russellville, and I do work for Entergy as a utility provider. And first of all, I want to say I do agree with what the mayor said, and I understand everyone's concern, and I can appreciate that as someone who lives here and someone who is committed to being here. I certainly can appreciate all of the concerns that people have when it comes to data centers, and I know that power is one of them, and then there's water that's one of them as well, as are their primary concerns for data centers. And the reason I signed up to speak, I wasn't sure how this was going to go, but I did want to share some things that we some of the projects that we already have in the state. So there's the Google data center in West Memphis. There's the Aveo data center that is in Little Rock. And one of the primary things, since my time is short, is that we have something called the Fair Share Plus Pledge. Our CEO met with President Trump about our ratepayer protection pledge, but that Fair Share Plus Pledge is something that is implemented in the contract with those data centers that we have, and what we anticipate is $1.7 billion in savings to Energy Arkansas ratepayers, because not just for the demand of data centers, but general demand is, we expect a 35% increase over the next 5 years. Arkansas is the #1 inbound and moving state. And I don't want to come off as somebody as just a defender of data centers. Certainly, I want to express that everybody's concerns are legitimate, but I did want to share some facts about the things that are in those contracts that we can share, and that under that Fair Share Plus pledge, that those data centers are paying for every bit of infrastructure associated to serve them. They are paying, and we have it in their contracts that their incremental costs will be covered. And the fact of the matter is that the generation that we have needs to be rebuilt, and we have the probability of being able to improve infrastructure with the help of data centers. And so certainly we've helped other communities as well. If we have to have a moratorium, we've helped other communities be within the state and federal law to where we can operate within those parameters as well. So my time is up, and certainly if there's questions from the council, I'll entertain questions. But if not, then I know there may be continued questions that people have. There's more to share, but I only have the 3 minutes, so I want to respect everybody's time.
Thank you, Mr. Clemens.
Thank you.
And I'll speak for Mr. Clemens. Oh, you got something going? Yeah, yes, you can ask a question, yeah.
Are you seeing increasing, I know the thing I see on Facebook is everyone's worried about bills going up.
Sure.
And these areas that already have the data center, has that been reported already? Or is that part of the act that's supposed to keep the bills steady? I know people are thinking it's going
Right.
to go up for everybody.
Right. So the Generating Jobs Act. So yeah, there were already in the works that we are not immune from inflation as a utility, and so costs are going to go up a little bit, not because of data centers. Data centers will not impact the ratepayer at all because they are paying for their generation, they are paying for the infrastructure it takes to serve them, and they are using solar power. So because of infrastructure needs, because of the growth that we've had as a state over a long period of time, yes, rates are going up, but not because of data centers. I have to make that clear. And so for a 1,000 kilowatt hour customer, what we anticipate for the beginning of 2027, let's say we are 22% below the national average on rates. And so at its base, the residential customer pays about 13 cents per kilowatt hour. It's $130 for a 1,000 kilowatt hour bill at its base. And so what the bill would increase to for a residential customer starting in 2027 is about $4.22. And so that's the rate that we expect over to increase from already growing infrastructure needs. And the fact of the matter is that we're all plugging things in, right? And we've had phenomenal growth, even in the city of Russellville. We've had Owens Corning, we've had Americold, we've had Tabor. All of these expansions also, they use power and they put a load on the infrastructure that needs to be improved upon so that we can continue to provide jobs and we can continue to provide power when it's needed. We want to be in a position that we never see rolling blackouts. And so, those costs are going to be incremental and increase. But the fact that data centers, what they do is help in the cost of infrastructure. The infrastructure that is needed to help a growing state, they contribute to those costs that are needed to take care of new generation and infrastructure. So, great question. Great question.
You said that the existence of a data center would not have any impact whatsoever on rate increases. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying?
That is correct.
Okay.
So
That's the fair share.
that's under the Fair
part
Share
of Fair
Plus
Share
pledge.
Plus pledge, so.
Okay.
And in the interest of time, I want to hear from everyone, so if maybe we can do questions more at the end, if we have specific questions, because we're going to be drinking from a fire hose here. That's just a suggestion. I'm not, I'm just one vote.
Okay. I just want to say that I typed in just really quick and then we can move on. But since I've already got started, I put in data center rates and I pull up a multitude of articles, including one, and I don't expect you to be able to respond to it, but because I don't have those articles in front of you.
Sure.
But one says data centers to add billions in power costs in 13 states from the New York Times, and a list of others which we can hash out. But my concern is that a lot of these facilities are huge. It's hard for me to believe that you're generating this much power and it's not having any impact whatsoever. I would be willing to have I could understand a back and forth on the extent of that impact on rates, but to say it has no impact on rates at all is quite a pill to swallow.
So we under the Fair Share Plus, they are paying even up front because they have the money to pay it, and we're regulated. They are paying up. We learned from other states. So when you look at other states' data, it's not the same. Energy is a vertically integrated utility company. And so that means we own the distribution, we own the transmission, and we own the generation. And so that makes the difference between, and you can Google Drew Marsh talking CNBC, talking about the difference between why it's different in, like, say, Pennsylvania or somewhere else. It's different for us because we are vertically integrated as a utility company. And so that's kind of a short answer. Certainly, I mean, and then we're forcing them, the APSC is forcing them under contract, it's along with us, that they pay for their infrastructure needs. And that includes generation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clements. Mr. Hausnick, Chris Hausnick, I do want to mention also, I didn't mention early on, your council has voted to do a 6-month moratorium while this committee is doing the research. So just to make that publicly known if you did not know that. Mr. Chris Hausnick, if you would introduce yourself, sir.
Thank you. Some of you know me. I am Christopher Hausnick, PhD from the Department of Political Science here at Arkansas Tech University. I am here, my time at the podium is to, I have talked to some of the counselors. I would like to volunteer for the committee. Part of the whys behind it is that policy analysis is part of political science. There's good ideas, there's bad ideas, and there's ideas which just make you cringe. And figuring out ahead of time what is good, mediocre, or bad policy is an important part of what we do. Additionally, I'd say I have become one of the interesting academic experts on large-scale development projects in Arkansas over the last decade. And if anybody knows what I've researched or I've appeared on television about, those projects are casinos. The more I read about data centers, I'm recognizing, this was a big thing in 2018. It has roiled Pope County and Russellville politics ever since. So that expertise in this environment, to me, seems well placed. Additionally, data centers they're a weird thing. There's an acronym, NIMBY, not in my backyard. Everybody loves data. They love their unlimited expanses. They love streaming services. They love being able to use ChatGPT or whatever else to cheat on their papers. But the reality is you've got to store all of that. And I think with those three things, those ideas I bring to the table, I would be honored to serve. And I would say, one of the things to just quickly echo of Mr. Omar there before, well said, part of the reason I want to come forward is my parents live in Pennsylvania. They are elderly, they are on limited incomes, and they are a state where data centers are up and running before any of this, and the concerns are very apparent. 30, 35, 40% rate increases for people on very fixed incomes. When I imagine something like that in Russellville, which is not as economically developed as Southeast Pennsylvania, that really sort of worries me. So, and with that, I yield my time to questions from the council.
Have you studied the impact? I mean, I imagine you have in your position, but have you studied the impact that data centers have on average when it comes to job creation? Because I've heard, generally speaking, that data centers, they create construction jobs, but they don't produce long-term positions once they're built. So something I would really like to learn is what kind of long-term effect would that have on jobs?
So
if
far,
one's built?
job creation, no. I've delved into, parts of it I've started doing, running into things like the use of the emergency clause. I think, as the mayor mentioned, non-disclosure agreements. I think what you'll find with data centers, there's lots of horror stories. The mayor shows up to city council, here is an agreement, you've never seen it, you're not allowed to see it, and you must vote on it. That literally happened. That's sort of there's lots of these little bits and anecdotes, but that is one topic of many, because I think that's what came up in the casino discussion. You're going to have hundreds of people come to Russellville to build a casino. That group will leave, but then you're going to create so many jobs for the long-term project running and stuff like that. So I think that is one of the many considerations. And especially, one of the things that comes along with some of these projects I've run into is economic development agreements. You know, just like you had for the casinos, when they show up and they want to build a data center, whether it's county, whether it's city, look, we'll give you things. We'll give you money, we'll buy things. That is something I've delved into with Johnson County. You know, one thing to stress, picking Johnson County was not random. You know, if you look, you like Googling, if I may, Johnson County had a budgetary problem. You know, they had a big deficit this coming year, and all of a sudden, here's a data center and providing, you know, millions of dollars in economic funds, and oh, by the way, $1 million to Johnson County Medical Center every year. You know, so this is where the politics and the economics and all of that gets really intertwined quickly, and in ways that can be understood and laid out with, you know, good, thoughtful research.
Thank you, Mr. Hosting.
All right.
Thank you.
Charlie Horton? Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. My name is Charlie Orton. I have served 6 years in the Navy in the advanced electronics and computers field, and 10 years with a local bank, 9 of them in the IT field. I can't tell you how many times I've done failovers for the data centers that many of the citizens of this county are against, but I've done numerous failovers for artificial intelligence data centers, hyperscale, on-premise data centers, edge data centers, and it's a bit hypocritical for me to say this, but I am against having a artificial intelligence data center or a hyperscale data center inside the county. They're big, they're massive, they use a lot of energy. I'm just not in favor for it. What I am in favor for this city particularly, is to have what they call tech centers or operational centers that have existing infrastructure in there for enterprise data centers. They're smaller than this room. They're enclosed. Typically, you would not know that they're there if you passed by it, you drove by it. It looks like any other building. I've done failovers in those types of environments successfully just as much as I have for those artificial intelligence and hyperscale failovers as well. So that's my spiel. Do you guys have any questions for me?
You did mention to me that you would be willing to serve on an ad hoc committee.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, what did you call that again? A small scale data center? I was going to
Yeah, enterprise data center or on-premise data center. They're typically
Okay.
smaller. They have their own cooling system, but you wouldn't notice it from looking outside the building.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Mr.
All
Horton.
right. Teresa Brewer? No, that's a crypto mine. That's a crypto mine, completely separate, yeah. Man, well, yeah, thank you. So make sure you brought that down to you.
Well, I'm quite nervous. I'm a grandmother, so be patient with me. But since you can't ban data centers, solar, wind farms, you can pass ordinance that restrict minimum distances from schools, hospitals, businesses, farms, everything. So I would propose that would be one of the things that we could put in there. My other thing is, and I've got listed a whole bunch of places it should be away from. And I also propose that they have to build their own energy sources. We do not bear the cost of any businesses being built, moved. Businesses, they have write-offs. We don't have write-offs. You know, they can write off all those costs. No use of our public waters, our lakes, our rivers, even though there's nothing we can do about what's going on north of us if there's any water left. But, oh, I'm sorry, I'm shaking. and no noise, no poisoning or heating of our land that's gonna hurt our animals, our birds, stupid wind farms, you know, our beautiful lakes. You know, I want this to be here for my grandkids, you know. And then on the Democrat Gazette, July 31st, it said Clarksville Data Center will need 5 times more power than the city utility can handle. And then in the Arkansas Times, I didn't write down the date, but it was recent, Energy had secret dealings with Google. Secret dealings with Google. I mean, what does that say? You know, that doesn't make me feel good about energy. It says the rate plan has usually allowed 1%. And now, according to this, it's going to raise the rates by 4% per year. You know, like I said, I'm a grandmother. You know, it's bad enough other things are going up. But your energy, you know, and besides that, we know, like this man said, they can build smaller places. I mean, I love our president, but he's listening to tech, you know, and that's not right. You can build smaller things. We can have better ways of cooling it besides using our water and wasting our land. And I'm pretty upset about it, and I'm sorry I'm quivering, but this is important to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out, Teresa.
Thank you for coming up.
Thank you, Ms. Mullen.
All right, Mr. Luke Wade.
Hi guys, I'm Luke Wade. I was a resident of Pope County for a long time, now I'm in Pulaski. So, as of recently, we had decorum court with our Pulaski City Council, and it voted 6-9, 9 being that they wanted to push back the data centers, basically. So, do you even really know much about your data in general? So, the big thing about these data centers is that not only are they using these data centers to connect everybody together, infrastructure has to have something plugged into it. You have to plug something into infrastructure, basically. So, with that being said, these data centers aren't going to be able to have their own power sources. They aren't going to be able to have enough things solar panel-wise to be able to incorporate all the power that they need to run these centers. They have to be hooked up to something. Basically, they work like a giant engine. You take in fuel, being things like water, being things like air cooling, and you release toxins afterwards. So basically, when you think about it, where is all this stuff going to go? Where's the water that they're basically going to be using that is going to be full of metals, full of toxics? Where's that stuff going to go? The air is going to be the same thing. Data centers, since they run off such high heat, they're also going to generate a lot of temperature rises as well. So it's not going to be something where it's just like, yeah, you will get this money that will be generated into the economy and will be generated into the state, but at the same time, you're going to be sacrificing a lot more. You're going to be sacrificing your lands, you're going to be sacrificing your water, you're going to be sacrificing your infrastructure. We already have massive rolling blackouts that happen every now and then anyways because we have blips every now and then. That's saying a lot because Arkansas's infrastructure as a whole has a ton of problems. We don't have enough funding. We don't have enough resources to maintain a lot of the stuff that we already do now. And to think about this, they're building these data centers on important waterways like the Mississippi. They're literally taking resources from us so that we can power this, and then they can basically just take our data and use it. It's not so much about the money aspect, it's so much about the data. When you realize that all these companies, it doesn't matter if it's a call center, it doesn't matter if it's an insurance place, it doesn't matter if it's a data center, AI data center, whatever it is, data rules the world at this point. And I know that in the sense of the US, we are behind in a lot of technology. So this is just a land grab and a race at this point. So just consider that when you're thinking about data centers and just how AI power is really happening and what it's really doing with the data you have. Because everybody's data, it doesn't matter if it's your home address, it doesn't matter if it's your phone number, it doesn't matter if it's your third born child who's 13 years old, I don't know. They usually take that data and they compile it down, and they use it against you to promote things like, hey, there are these ads, take a look at this. So just consider that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. Mr. Wes Freeman.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for allowing me to speak. My name is Wes Freeman. I'm a real estate agent here in Russellville. Mayor, you mentioned that we could not just say no data centers because of discrimination. I'm not an attorney, so I don't know what the discrimination laws are for that. From what I have researched and found, I'm familiar with the discrimination laws, and most of those discrimination laws that I'm familiar with discriminate against people. And I understand we cannot do that. I've not found anything, and like I said, I'm not an attorney. I've not found anything that says that you cannot determine what industry that you will or will not allow into your county. So that would be an interesting take to find out what that discrimination law is that we would be violating.
Yeah, like I say, our city attorney advises that, and also what's called the Arkansas Municipal League. I was on the phone with them today before we met, and I'm meeting with them tomorrow morning, so.
The state actually
in there.
passed a law in 2023 forbidding municipalities and counties from banning data centers outright. That's why the county, the city, no entity in the state of Arkansas has the ability to just say, we're not going to have them, because the state said no one can do that.
We'll come to you in a minute, Mr. House. Go ahead, Mr. House, real quick.
Can you come to the microphone, because
Yeah.
people can't hear?
So,
And will you reset
yeah,
this time?
because we've engaged him here, Mr.
The local politics example is when they opened the marijuana dispensary on South Arkansas Avenue. The city council split, the mayor vetoed. Mr. Smith said basically a lawsuit would be $1 million and unwinnable for that project, where they said, we don't want this project. And the law was not on Russellville's side.
While you're up here, since you are a political scientist, isn't that the Constitution, the pursuit of happiness is the pursuit of property? So isn't that what this is? It's not discrimination, so to speak. It's, you can't deny someone the ability to open a business as long as they meet the local parameters, the planning guidelines, and all that kind of stuff. Isn't that basically?
That is my understanding, as not
Yeah,
as
okay.
a lawyer.
Yeah, but
Okay.
like what Miss Teresa said, though, is you can put boundaries of where they can
Absolutely.
be built and different things. And that's what your council's doing here. Your council's trying to put guardrails in place so that that's what they're trying to do.
I want
So
to
I'll let
clarify.
you go ahead.
I want to clarify, because any speaker, because and I know some of you are from Little Rock area, we're not entertaining a data center. We are trying to build fences and put parameters in. So if anybody thinks this is about us getting ready for a data center, this is not that at all. It's just us getting our ducks in a row. As someone mentioned before, a city slightly west of us maybe didn't have these parameters. We're trying to make sure we have those parameters.
Okay, Mr. Freeman, go ahead.
Thank you. I do like the idea of having a task force, if you will. If we're going to be faced with this in the future, I think we should be prepared. You know, one of the things that I'm concerned with is data centers haven't been around long enough to know typically what the long-term effects on our community and on our land and our community people. You know, so that's something that I value. I've lived here all my life. I intend on continuing to live here for the rest of my life. You know, so it's the ones that's west of here, it's an eyesore. I don't like that. We're the natural state. You guys have heard me state that before. We're the natural state. I like it that way. I like being able to go out and hunt and fish and enjoy the nature that we have been provided in what I consider the most beautiful state in the country. One of the concerns that I have is with a data center and the people that would be approaching that, when you set guidelines, when you give them a playbook, they will figure out how to manipulate that and how to circumvent the rules that you put in place. I'm very concerned about the energy rates increase. no disrespect to Mr. Clemens, but everything that I've seen has shown a very high increase in rates. I'm concerned about where the water's going to come from to cool that. We're in Arkansas. It gets very dry in the summer. Where's that water going to come from? There's a lot of unknowns that I don't think we're prepared for. So if we need to prepare for that, I'm all for that. But I'm very much opposed to a data center right now, unless someone can give me a good reason on what the pros are and what the benefits to our community are.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman.
Nicole Desiderio.
Hi, I'm Nicole Desiderio. I was born here in Russellville over at St. Mary's on 8/15/1986. My partner and I drove in tonight from Little Rock, and we live in Pulaski County. And I'm pretty confident that Russellville is not going to put in a data center. I've spent the afternoon speaking to one of the members on the water board. And I just wanted to come today to bring the information of what we've seen, because we have went to a lot of these data center meetings. We went to the one where Energy and Aveo went to, and I don't mean any disrespect to you, sir, but in Little Rock, I'm just not buying what Energy has to sell. I've already put that for public comment in Pulaski County, and they told us at the data center meeting that it would be on the cost of the consumers. However, we've already seen rate increases, and then they're saying they're going to increase it another 2.2%, which would be a total for this quarter of another 4.9%, which would make it to about 12% increase for the year. So 0%, 2.2, 4.9, 12%, I don't know what to believe. And you're not given a whole lot of faith to the citizens who have to live here, have to breathe here. We heard lithium battery fires is something that it'll cost. In Pulaski County and in the city of Little Rock, we don't have the infrastructure, meaning we're about 400 people short for a fire department. So what is that going to do with the lithium battery fire that you don't have extinguishers to put it out, and the water isn't going to do it? I don't know if any of y'all know, but for a fire engine, it costs $950,000 just for the fire engine. That doesn't include the water tank. That doesn't include the ladder. Now, where that money going to come from? It looks like it's going to come from our tax dollars. So you decide what you want to do. And I gave the same speech last week at the Quorum Court meeting, and then I went and talked to the PSC, the Public Service Commission, the next night, and that's where you'll find me in the Arkansas Times. So what I'm saying is we're going to have to stand together with our neighbors. We're going to have to pack the rooms out like this. Now, we are very fortunate to have a good city council and a good mayor here that didn't roll over, okay? Because we are not so fortunate in Pulaski County and in Little Rock. And I just got a question for the community here. Now, I know everybody in this room has heard this saying before, but all crap rolls where? Downhill, okay? We are down here from Clarksville, all right? So, and I'm just going to throw this out here, but has anybody heard the story about the dog on a nail? Anybody? Raise your hand if you do. Okay. I'm going to tell you the story. One time there was this dog, and it was sitting on a porch, and it was hollering, and it was crying, and it was making a bunch of noise. And then there was this man sitting on the porch with it, and somebody from the neighborhood heard all this commotion, came over and said, "Hey, man, your dog's crying. It's making a hell of a lot of noise. It's keeping my kids up. I can't sleep. I got to get to work in the morning. Do something about this dog." He said, "Well, I can't do anything about this dog." He's like, "Well, why not?" He said, "Because the dog's sitting on a nail." He said, "Well, if he's sitting on a nail, why don't he get up?" Because it's not hurting him bad enough yet. The reason why we had more time bought in Pulaski County last week is because we didn't look at Wrightsville, which is outside of Little Rock city limits, for the Aveo Town Center. We didn't look at Wrightsville and say, "That's your problem." We stood shoulder to shoulder with our neighbors. That means we're going to have to pay attention when Dover is having a meeting, when Hector is having a meeting, when Clarksville is having a meeting, when Lamar is having a meeting. And what they do is they go into these communities that are low income, and they ain't hiring there.
Ms. Desiderio, the time, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. I applaud you guys for coming from Little Rock. Yes. You get the gold star for traveling furthest, I think. I don't know. So there may be somebody here from further. I don't know. But All right, so that was all that we had time to speak. At this point, I will yield the floor to you, Mr. Keller, if that's okay? Or do you as far as when you talk about how you want to do the committee formation?
Well,
Unless someone objects. Does anybody have an objection to me yielding the floor to Mr. Keller?
No.
Okay, I'm going to let him take the lead on that, so.
okay, so like with committee formation, first, for anyone who is interested, there is, and I don't have the form, I put them all out there.
Okay.
There is a form out there, it's front and back. Please fill out the form and turn them into the mayor's office. You can scan them and email them. Do we want to set, like, we need these back by, what, Friday?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
we need a deadline, definitely.
Yeah.
Because we need to move forward.
You can fill them out tonight if you want.
Yeah, you can fill them out tonight.
It's
hand
not
them
a
in,
lot.
But if you're,
And if we run out, let me know. I'll go print more.
if you are wanting to serve on the committee, and the way, I don't know what anyone else thinks about this, but the way I kind of envision it is that we're going to have the committee that's going to be basically broken up into, there's going to be several subcommittees that are going to kind of look at different aspects of it. Because in order to modernize our zoning and land use codes and look at all the areas that we need to, it's going to take a bunch of folks focusing in on an area while another folks are focusing in. Someone's going to focus on water. Some subcommittee is going to focus on power. Someone's going to focus on infrastructure, emergency, so on and so forth. So anyone who wants to be on it, please fill out one of those, send it in. And would you guys say, I don't know, it's a working session, so I don't know how this works, and our parliamentarian's not here.
Yes. So, I mean, basically what we will do is get those applications, and then we'll email those out to everyone, and then basically,
Yeah.
and you may be a situation where you take everybody that's on there if you want to
I
have
would
them.
be in favor of taking everybody that's interested. That's
Yeah.
what this is for.
Yeah.
And
it's-
here's
so
some,
the public can have their.
here's something too, is that this is a work session. The way that it works is, so the actual committee won't be formed until, what is that, like the
It was 30 days from
17th?
it's 30 days from the council before it can
So-
be formed. So
So the ordinance that establishes the committee won't take effect until 30 days after it's passed. So these are just working sessions right now. And so I kind of hesitate to call them the committee meeting session because it's not legally in, and I don't want someone to come back and be like, oh, well, you started doing this work before you legally could, so that work has to be thrown out or whatever. And so we'll have some working sessions between now and the time that it officially starts. And then once we know like the official date of like our first meetings, and then we can get together and work on subcommittees and so on and so forth.
So the formal formation would be what date?
It would be 30 days after.
30
was it
days after the 17th.
So that's, and we were
17th of
31,
July or
so that
August?
would be what,
it'd be 30 days after your
So
council
like the
meeting, which is
16th?
16th of August.
16th of
probably.
August, I think.
Okay.
So we have like 2 weeks until it will be official. So between now and then, fill it out, turn in your form, and then be thinking what is a part of this that you really want to make sure is taken care of. Like if the water aspect, the lakes and the natural resources, something that was interested that you spoke about. Make sure that's you note that on there. If it's the power, if it's the infrastructure, whatever. Tell us what it is that brought you out here tonight, so we can put you in a spot that you're able to use the passion and the knowledge and your desire in order to make this as good as it can be. But I would like us to, in addition to the council members and anyone from the city, I want us to make sure that we have a rep from Energy and a rep from City Corp, since water and power are going to be two things that I know that we're going to need to talk about. Here's another thing too with a working session. We can't pass anything. We can't make any official declarations or anything like that in a working session. The only thing these can do is we could just kind of discuss. Does anyone have any other ideas as far as committee and how to do this and so on and so forth?
Yeah, I'd like
This
to,
is their discussion, I'm sorry. Unless
Well,
they,
like what Mr. Gray said, I mean, take everybody that has one. we
Yeah,
have a
I
lot
don't
of
wanna-
different
Oh,
committees,
Well, it's
so-
not an this is an application, I don't even call it an application, it is a form you fill out because you want to have input.
It's a declaration.
Yeah, because I don't want us to weed anyone out. That's
No.
not the purpose of this. And if it is Friday, if that is our deadline for folks to get that in, that would be at 4:30 p.m. Because that's when the office closes. So if we could just note that as well, and you can scan it and email it or drop it by in person.
it's a two-sided, so it's kind of hard to scan, so.
Well, you can scan
Yeah,
both
scan both sides,
yeah.
yeah, so.
Does anyone have anything else on committee formation you want to talk about?
I just want to touch base on that item number 6, public involvement and transparency. I just want to explain, there are no secret meetings. There are no behind-the-scenes things. Everything that has been done is done in public. I mean, there's a lot of people that have questions about different things, but everything's on YouTube. There's not anything that is not public, and so I just want you guys to know that. You guys, and I as a citizen, yes, I am the mayor, but I am a citizen of Russellville, and I'm grateful for the 8 men and women that sit up here because they're very pro Russellville, and I'm grateful that they took it upon themselves to say, hey, listen, we're gonna do this. However, but I also the different things that they voted for in the last 3.5 years that I've got to sit in this chair, it's very pro Russellville. So.
Yeah, I just want to say, the people that got up there and spoke today, like I still get nervous when I do this all the time. And so thank you so much for
Yes.
bringing your opinions, because I know it's not always easy and it's intimidating, and we're listening. Someone like me, like this, I've learned so much more tonight than I knew last week, and I've even been trying to research it. So I appreciate you guys being brave enough to get out there and talk to us.
Perspectives help. I mean, just to add to that, when you get a wide array of different people from the community and outside the community to lend their perspective, it really helps enrich our knowledge of the issue, because, I mean, we're all new to this. So it's nice to hear from other people, because there's a lot of things that you don't consider until you hear it from somebody else.
And I want to reiterate what I said early on. We have 30,000 people in the city of Russellville. We have 90+ thousand people that call the city of Russellville town. So thank you for showing up, those of you that live outside of the city limits of Russellville. And all of you on YouTube, this is your opportunity. This is your invitation. Come to our meetings. This is your town. Granted, you may live in the county. You may live in a separate county, but this is your town. When you come to town to go to the store or to go eat or whatever that is, this is your town, and so we appreciate it. And I mean, I just appreciate the people showing up. That's what we that's what we want. We love people showing up because we want you to be involved. We want to hear your opinion. And I will tell you, if you want to get on the City of Russellville website, all of these people's emails are on there. You call these guys, they're going to say, hey, let's go have coffee. Let's go, whatever it is, if it's a drainage issue, if it's the data center, whatever it is, they're going to show up. Or like say, my office is always open. Anyone is welcome to call me, and I'll have a meeting with anyone. And hopefully, like I say, I'll sit down and answer any question, not opinions. It's just I show you what's there. So,
I want to add something to what the mayor said. I'm an old school teacher, retired school teacher, so I'm trying to get educated on this. And I need the community to help educate me. We've heard all kinds of expertise, people with technical expertise that have experience with these kind of things, and then people in a different walk of life have more environmental experience or whatever, or a grandma. I'm a grandpa, and I'm concerned. I have concerns too about these things as well for our community. But I would ask the public, especially you folks that showed up here tonight, to show up and do this is not only impressive, but I'd like for you to help go out and educate folks that we're not hiding anything. All of our meetings are public. We're not, I see this on Facebook a lot, that we're getting a cut out of a lot of things. And if we were, I wouldn't be sitting here if I got as many cuts as everyone said I was getting on something. So we're here because we want to serve the people of Russellville. As some, people that run for political office, you kind of beg for this job. And so We're here to serve, and we're here to learn and to help and to respond. So please help us educate folks. There's no data center that we know of trying to come here. But we're trying to build guardrails and fences so things don't happen to us that do happen to other communities. In fact, we have a lot of the things to keep a data center from coming in our current planning and zoning codes. We just have a couple of things that we've discovered we want to think about and tweak, and that's why we're doing this. So thank you all for being here, but please help us educate folks that there's no hidden agenda. There's nothing to hide. And again, sit down with the mayor, look at that map. I'll do the same thing. I'll meet you anywhere for breakfast. I'm retired, so I love going to breakfast and lunch. Never can as a teacher. Didn't get to do any of those things. So I will sit with you, and I will tell you what I know and show you what I know. But Russellville is a very dense city. We are a small land area. We're hemmed in by the lake. We're hemmed in by the river. We've got Pottsville one direction, London another one, Dover another one. We don't have tons of land in the city of Russellville that we have control over. Now, you can talk to the folks over at the courthouse. They got a whole other set of things, and that's another thing. City doesn't do county things. County does county things, and city does city things. So we're going to try to control what we can control. But I've talked too long, but thank you all for being here, and let's all get educated together.
I'll entertain a motion. Are you got more that you want to talk about, Mr. Keller? Or, no, sorry, I didn't know.
Do we need to figure out when we're going to?
Oh, yeah,
Have we determined our next steps enough so that everybody's clear, the public's clear, we're clear? Item number 8.
Application's Friday, but when do we plan on to start meeting? In 30 days, right? Like 30 days
Well,
from the
the
last
16th,
meeting.
yeah, 30 days from last meeting. The 16th, that'd be the first time you can actually legally hold a committee meeting and call it a committee meeting. You could have a work session, but it
Which
wouldn't.
is the 16th is a Sunday, so.
Okay, so maybe the Monday, maybe
yeah,
17th.
it would be the
That'd
17th. I mean, are you guys opposed to saying on the 17th, that first day? Let's just set, again, 5:30.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Does that work for y'all, committee members? 5:30.
It'll be the 17th.
Okay.
Well, welcome to the world of council, where
Yeah.
no matter what
Yeah.
day we pick.
There's something always,
And by the
yeah.
way, for the record, I want you to know that everyone up on this dais up here does know what a fire truck costs with the tank on it
Yeah.
or not. So yeah, we.
Yeah, you see that big truck driving through
We
Russellville
know
that
how
says ladder
expensive they
one,
are.
it's $1.3
The
million.
general public may not, but everyone up here knows how much
Yeah,
this
so-
stuff costs, and so.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Teresa. Okay, so
Sorry.
Oh, I did not.
it's, you guys, yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, Miss
yeah,
Leader, yeah.
yeah.
You need to come up there.
Yeah, you got to come up here and state your name.
Was it you, Miss Clear, that had your hand up, or no?
No, who is the?
Oh, okay, go ahead. So.
Hello and thank you. My name is Jennifer Luter. I'm running for office as a Democrat for District 53, and I just wanted to remind you that this is an election year, and the comment that was made tonight about how our state has passed a law to prevent us from banning data centers, if that's what my position does, is they make laws. We can change that in November. That's a few months away.
Yeah.
You can vote for a new governor, you can vote for a new senator, a new secretary of state, a new representative. Pay attention to who's running and ask them what they think about data centers. You can change it in a few months.
Thank you,
Thank
Miss Lee. Ma'am, did you want to come up real quick? So.
Good evening. My name is Deborah DeJohnette, and I also am retired, loving it, and I have chosen to stay in Russellville. I'm originally from Chicago, and my concerns are not only what has been spoken about here, but for a retiree in reference to home ownership, your property values, what's going on as far as what you will and will not have to go ahead and pass on to your children and grandchildren. I see right now that I spent most of the morning this morning trying to get my cable bill lowered. my internet cable bill lowered because everything is going up. People like me don't have disposable income, okay? And all I see is a data center causing more disruption for retired seniors and people on low-income people who don't have additional money to spend on things that will increase or to move away to some place, and there's no place that you can run to. There's no place that you can go right now that does not have a consideration for a data center on the books.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. 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 I know you guys want to hear. So.
My name is Anthony Busey. I met the mayor earlier, and I just wanted to remind everybody that there is no Russellville water. It's not Russellville water, it's water. We all share the same water. So when they take the water from Russellville, they take it from everywhere. And right now, we're kind of in a drought. So this is going to stress the amount of water that's available. And my next thing I wanted to just kind of ask, first of all, and I probably should have said this, Mayor, I appreciate you guys letting us come and speak. But also, I just want to know where this data is coming from and why they need all these data centers. So if we just stop using ChatGPT and AI, did all the data centers go away? And what do they do with the data?
That's somebody that's a lot smarter than us. So, like I say,
Yeah.
there's lots of different
That's
things. So,
far beyond the,
Yeah, so
but yeah, it's
there's-
everything. It's not just ChatGPT, it's our streaming services, everything we get on the phone.
anything you do digitally.
Yeah, anything you do digitally, yeah.
I mean, because we're currently functioning without these new data centers. So why do we need more?
We're continuing to grow. Like I say, we're continuing to grow and use more and more. So.
And Arkansas, as Mr. Clemens mentioned, that for the last 3 quarters, Arkansas has been the top inbound state
Yes.
for
So if
population. So
If we stop using these things, then all these data centers go away?
Well, the problem is we're not going to stop using those. So
Or
that's
if we
I
reduce
don't
ours,
know.
at least
Even
at least,
if
scale back?
even if you and every one of us in this room and everyone in Russellville and whatnot individually stopped using them,
Sure. But
they're used every day, every second of every day
Right,
by companies that are
so-
using them. So it's not going to go
so,
away,
like,
unfortunately.
My wife works for she doesn't work for a data company per se, but she works for a company that kind of trains the AI bots and tries to make sure that they're giving correct information. So I think that what I would kind of encourage is that we make it a point to say this is where this is coming from. Maybe if we could learn not to use.
I would
just go
encourage you
back
to
a few
sign up
years.
and be part of that group. So
Okay, I
I would
will.
encourage you.
Thank
That'd be awesome. They're outside. I was just made aware that the 17th is the first day of school. If that matters to anyone, you're the ones that are going to set this.
it used to matter a lot,
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter to a retired teacher. So
not as much anymore.
What's the 18th? Because I know, like, for me, it might be hard.
Yeah,
What about the
yeah.
18th?
We could do the 18th.
yeah, that's fine. That'd be Tuesday. You'll have a
Yeah.
Tuesday and a Thursday meeting that week.
Okay.
So because
Yeah,
you'll have
that's not-
council the
that's not a
18th. Yeah, that's
problem.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's
okay.
not a problem.
Yeah. So
Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah, we'll do it Tuesday
We're
the
gonna do
18th. Yeah, so,
Tuesday, August 18th, 5:30.
yep, that'd be good. So I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. We'll adjourn. Just let everyone know. I'm sure people will stand around and talk to you if you'd like. So, all right, I'm open for any conversation or if anyone wants to talk. So,
Yeah, if anybody wants to stay behind, I will be glad to talk to you.